right, everybody, welcome tonight. It is a beautiful evening wherever you're at because you are breathing and you're able to praise the Lord. You're able to in Him live, move, and have your being. So it has to be beautiful, especially some of the things we're going to be dealing with tonight. Of course, we'll be looking at current events. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do a checkup on the Scale It Down. We're going to have a beverage of the night. I've got a guest coming up here in a little while. I'm going to be talking about something really super duper cool. And we're also going to be taking a little bit of an in-depth look towards the end of the program at the Persecuted Church. And one of the reasons I decided to do that tonight was there are some new statistics out on persecution against Christians that are happening around the world as well. The Bible says something about that in the book of Revelation, chapter 2. And, you know, with all the things that are going on around the world, most people are looking at things. You know, we've got COVID-19. We've got wars and rumors of wars. We've got, strange weather patterns. Remember, a few shows ago, I taught you that I believe in global warming. It's just where the warming for the globe is coming from. It's all in vernacular and how you're phrasing it. There's a huge earthquake off of Alaska. Israel's having this stuff happen. Middle East, all the stuff we look at and people go, I wonder if Jesus is coming back soon. My guess, he probably is. In fact, I was talking to my sandaled sister today, Robin, down in Virginia, and she told me, she goofed up in her text message. She told me that she was talking to her horse, and her horse told her that Jesus is coming back soon. And I sent a laugh emoji, and I told her, I said, well, I wonder if I could get your horse on the program and we could interview your horse. Maybe, we could really get some viewers by having Mr. Ed on. And then she responded back. She goes, not my horse, my vet. Talking to my vet. So, hey, it's out there. There's all kind of stuff going on. And I want to welcome all of you tonight on YouTube, Facebook, Integrity Television. Everybody's jumping in here now. Oh, we're live everywhere, and it is going to be awesome. And I want to thank you for being a part. For the next 57 minutes, 24.3 seconds, we're going to be together. I've got a big production clock right there on the right that keeps me on pace. A little while ago, we got all synced in with the guys at Integrity Television. We're on the perfect delay. Everything is ready to roll. So it's going to be a great time. So welcome to all of you. I see you guys jumping in here. I see you talking. I see North Carolina in the house. I see Virginia in the house. Welcome to you. In hockey, God bless you. Bob Vanderslice. Larry Gorley, what's going on? As you know, man, we're ready to roll. Let's see. Oh, I saw also Richmond, Virginia. Lynn and John and Fireball, you're up in here. Brooksville, Florida, up in the house tonight. Brother, me and Jethro are watching. I was just talking about you. And Jethro, AJ Bird checking in from the great state of North Carolina. AJ Bird is, she's a part of the crew that rescued my father and I when we were stranded with the last hurricane. I see Texas jumping up in the house. Gary Bird, welcome to you tonight, my friend. You know what? I got to get you on the program. I'm going to give you a call, Gary Bird. We would love to get it out there on Facebook, YouTube, and Integrity Television and tell everybody about M25 and the ministry that you have. It's awesome. So thank you for being in here tonight. And Paul Kiss taking care of the Canadian connection via Pennsylvania. So folks, welcome to you all. It is going to be awesome. But Sandal Sister, I see that, Gary. Thank you. It will be great. I'll give you a buzz. I was telling everybody, Robin, that we were texting earlier on some different things, and you told me that your horse told you that Jesus is coming back soon, and I laughed, and then you responded and told me it was your vet. Well, anyway, Linda Cassio, I see you in the house. In fact, Linda Cassio told me a story, I don't know, within the last 2 weeks, how that she has some folks that have started watching the program on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then those folks have connected to some plant over in Ohio, and they actually watch the program or listen to the program while they are working over there sometimes. So thank you for that. Bill Terry, what are you doing up in the house? Kick back in the recliner. I know what you're doing, sipping on the Earl Grey tea. So folks, it's time. Everything is going great, and we are going to have a great time tonight, I promise you. But the first thing we got to check on is what's going on with the Scale It Down. What on earth is happening?
Let's see, I'm not too hungry this morning. I'll just have orange juice, bowl of cereal, stack of wheats, 3 eggs over. Make sure they ain't running off.
Right.
Bacon on the crisp side, white toast buttered, hashed brown potatoes, and coffee. Coffee.
Does my heart good to see a thin person eat.
So folks, here's what I can tell you. The Scale It Down is rocking and rolling. That's what I'm just going to tell you. I know on Fridays we're supposed to give the update with the numbers, but here's the problem. You know, I was having such a good time failing at this program during the summer that I joined the program that's helping me with my food intake, but my weigh-in day is on Saturday. So I can't weigh in yet until tomorrow morning. It will be 7 days, but I can tell you this. Oh, yeah. The shirt was easier to button tonight around the midline. Let me just say that. The shirt was easier to button around the midline. So for sure, the Scale It Down is working. And Rusty James, there is no gain. I promise you, there is a lose. And Leonard and Mary, God bless you, checking in from beautiful Star City, Roanoke, Virginia. So folks, that's where we're at. And of course, you guys are doing great, sending in great healthy beverages. You're keeping me good going. You're not sending all the trash to make me fat again. We're in good shape. Got a great beverage tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to witness is not only exciting and educational, but sometimes a bit risky as well. Do not try this at home. It's time for the beverage of the night.
Folks, the beverage of the night tonight is coming in from one of the most faithful viewers in the world. Wait a second, AJ Bird, you're not allowed to say that. Oh my goodness, you must be on Weight Lookers. No, I'm not on Weight Lookers, but AJ Bird, wish I could say that, gain 55. Hey, start scaling it down with me now with good beverages. Beverage tonight coming in from one of the most faithful viewers ever, Elaine DeWolf. She said, I got a beverage for PG. It is AHA sparkling water, blueberry pomegranate. I'm so pumped up. No sodium, no sweeteners, no calories, probably no taste, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Here we go. Oh, there we are. Popping the top on the blueberry pomegranate. You know what they've done? They took some carbonated club soda water, and in the bottom of this can, they have dropped 1 blueberry and 1 pomegranate. This is basically torture. But it's making me healthy. Are you guys ready to roll? We got a ton of stuff to look at tonight, and it is time to get it going. All right, everybody, we have a lot of things to go over tonight, but of course, being a beautiful, lovely evening tonight, we're going to start with just a little bit of something to make everyone smile. And I got a little cartoon here for you tonight. I've been trying to integrate some of these every once in a while, but we have here scripture out of Matthew chapter 20, verse 16. The cartoon says, "Woohoo! Wow! He finished last. Why is he so happy?" It's one coach talking to another, and the other coach says, "Well, he's very religious." Scripture reference, Matthew 20, verse 16. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want that guy on my team, because if I'm in sports, I don't want to be last, I promise you. Folks, we're going to start right here tonight. As you know, the Delta variant with COVID is going on. We all have our views on it, and you guys have been in here with me for pushing 18 months, so we know we're all standing on this. Try to treat everything with respect, honor, etc., etc. We all, maybe all, I can't say all, I personally been affected by it, lost family members and friends, have many friends infected right now with new variant. And it's a challenge. But with that said, the leadership vacuum in Washington, D.C. has been causing quite a bit of chaos. This chaos, since our last program on Tuesday, has been unfolding like crazy. So a couple of things I want to address tonight in regard to COVID-19. And we followed it from the get-go. I think a little bit of patience is in order, because over the next few weeks, we're going to see what's going to unfold. But I'm going to tell you this, no matter what unfolds, please listen to me tonight. No matter what your opinion is, right, left, middle, Bible, no Bible, I'm a Christian, I'm not a Christian, I'm a crazy radical, I'm ultra conservative, I don't care. Wherever you're at, please hear me. You live in the greatest country on the planet. We may have our problems right now. We may have much discord in this nation. We may have division. We may have, the new administration that honestly is lost, has no idea what they are doing. They are overwhelmed. They're out of their league. We understand that. We have Capitol Hill that is doing nothing but fight and argue. We have states that are in disagreement. We have an economy that is upside down, and we just ignore it. But with that said, you need to hear me tonight. We live in the greatest country on the planet. I promise you. I promise you. A couple of things I want to share with you in regard to COVID. When this Delta variant got kicking and CDC released a little bit of guidance a few days ago that they were going to mandate masks and looking at schools, President Biden came immediately out and he said, boom, there's going to be a possibility of lockdowns. There's going to be a possibility of kids not going back to school or kids being masked. And he just unloaded about 48 hours ago. The White House, the administration kind of let it roll, but then they had to start backing up on it yesterday. And I'm going to tell you tonight why they had to back up. And what's really interesting for me is Jen Psaki was not the one that was addressing this, but it was actually Karine Jean-Pierre, who is Psaki's assistant. She came out, made a statement for the administration saying, we will not, her bottom part was, we will not be going back into lockdowns. Why? Because we now have the tools to put the virus behind us. The science says the vaccines work, including against the Delta variant. We urge Americans to get vaccinated. Now, that is a big flip-flop from what CDC and President Biden were saying just 48 hours ago. They were backing up. Why were they backing up? I'm glad you asked. Number one, the White House is in confusion about this. Number two, the Senate, the United States Senate right now has came out and said, we will not be masking in the Senate chamber, but at the same time, the House of Representatives is saying we will be masking in the chamber house for the House. In fact, Miss Pelosi got in quite a bit of trouble because she ordered the Capitol Police to arrest visitors and staff and members of the House who were not masking. Of course, she had to back up on that. Then you have states and cities. One city will be ultra aggressive against it, like Los Angeles, going back to full masking right now. You have other cities, like I told you the other night, St. Louis, who came out and says, nope, no mandates. Now you have states. You have states like California that says, okay, we got to back it up. We got to slow down. And then you've got states like Texas and you've got states like Florida where they're saying the exact opposite. I'm going to show you something on that in a moment. You've got corporations. For example, Google slowed down their employees coming back to work. If they're in-house, they've got a mask. I talked to a friend of mine who works at Intel yesterday. He has the COVID coronavirus right now, and he says, listen, Intel, we're just partly back, and he's out in California, and if we're back, now we have to be masked. Other companies have come out and said, nope, we're going forward. People are vaccinated, not vaccinated, we're going forward. So what do we have? We have absolute chaos in our country in regard to how to handle this situation from a national perspective. And what that is causing is complete chaos and madness and differing opinions. And it's going to be very interesting over the next 3 or 4 weeks what unfolds. I told you about Texas and Florida. Texas Governor Greg Abbott today signed an order banning COVID vaccine mandates, okay? Not the vaccine, but a governmental order from Washington, D.C. would not be enforced by Texas. Now, listen, you guys know, I've been vaccinated. I'm happy to tell you, my daughter just finished 3-country tour of missions. In fact, we're going to be interviewing her and some of the team members next week, hear about their trip, okay? But I'm not out there in la-la land on the vaccine. And no problem. I had COVID. Very, very good. I had a very good bout of it. No problem for me, but that comes down to some folks for a personal decision. I had to counsel a pastor yesterday. We were discussing it. The reason being, I was supposed to be heading to Estonia in the first week of September, and that trip was canceled because Estonia has once again locked down. And a pastor called me and he says, listen, I'm really struggling with this. I feel that I think I want to go get the vaccine, but then I'm scared what opinion that'll give to my parishioners and etc. You know, if I trust God, you know, with no vaccine, you know, I feel like my faith is wavering. I said, man, listen, you follow your heart and you follow your brain. The same God you have faith in to trust without the vaccine is the same God you have faith to trust in with the vaccine. That argument is completely 100% invalid. He says, never thought about it that way. I think I'm going to get the vaccine. And that was our conversation. You have your own decisions to make. I don't tell you what to do. I can just give you part of what I look at and how I see things. Governor Ron DeSantis, in dealing on a kickback against President Biden, says, listen, in the state of Florida, parents should decide if their children wear masks to school. If we need to push through litigation to block something federally come time for school, we will do that. The bottom line is, folks, when you see all of this chaos, of course, the White House had to back up and say, oh, sorry, we overspoke. We too quick spoke. No. We're not going to be mandating anything. We're not going back into lockdowns. But I'm here to tell you, we're going to see what unfolds over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, I really think they're going to be key as to what unfolds going into this fall. Now, I told you, regardless of all that chaos we were just covering, different opinions, different viewpoints, everything we were looking at, you still live in the greatest country on earth. Kenya today banned all in-person meetings and public gatherings as COVID is surging. That's Kenya. Now, Kenya is a beautiful nation. It's just north of Tanzania on the eastern coast of Africa. It's very similar to Tanzania. It's got a lot of the same Serengeti type parks. They share the border with a lot of the Maasai land, and the border between Tanzania and Kenya is pretty active. And I've been right there on the border ministering in a town called Namanga. And then from there, it was a 6-mile hike into the bush to meet with the Maasai. Been there, done that. Look forward to being back there as quickly as I can. But the deal is, Kenya, listen, the nations of Africa, and I can't say all, but the ones I have been in, with all due respect and politeness, the sanitation and the cleanliness is not at a European, American, Canadian standard. It's just different. These nations are extremely poor. And I'm surprised, and it's probably due to lack of data, that we haven't heard more, whether it be COVID or other viruses or diseases in Africa. It's a pretty difficult place. But Kenya now has banned all in-person meetings. And it's a beautiful nation, East African nation there. So that's Kenya. Today, you're free to walk in your Walmart without your mask and go about life now basically normal. Basically, yeah. Kenya. You say, okay, well, PG, that's Kenya, that's Africa, and that's just like you were describing. It doesn't have the same infrastructure and cleanliness and hygiene and et cetera. I said, yeah, okay, fair enough. How about this one? What do you guys think about Australia? I know a lot of us want to go to Australia. It's a beautiful place. We want to see, maybe the Sydney Opera House. And so maybe you have a question. I have a very good friend who probably will watch this show later tomorrow because it's nighttime or early morning there in Australia. He usually watches later and sends me a message. But Chris Friend, he pastors and he's an overseer there in Perth, Australia. Listen, Australia, if I was to drop you right now in Sydney, Melbourne, or Perth, you would honestly think you're in New York City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or wherever you're viewing from tonight. Gary Bird's in here, Dallas, Texas, Amarillo. You think you're in some modern, because you are. Australia's extremely modern, high tech. It's like America, like Canada, like a lot of Europe. Australia, in the city of Sydney. Now listen, beginning Monday, so today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, beginning Monday, if you have tested positive for COVID-19 in Sydney, Australia, the police, with a dispatch of 300 members of their armed forces, will be going door to door to make sure that if you have COVID, you are home and quarantined. Folks, that's not Kenya. That's Australia. Thank God for where you live, the greatest country in the history of the world. We love America. I have a question for you tonight. Here's the question of the night. Would somebody please tell me where in the world is Vice President Kamala Harris? God bless her. God bless all those folks. But would somebody tell me? I've been asking this for like a week. And then today there was some articles released that I just couldn't get past. The first one came out of Time, where Biden is paying the price for his Harris mistake. And I don't mean that to be personal, but it's just reality. It's incompetence. God bless them. We all need Jesus. I would love for our administration to get saved, filled with the Holy Spirit, be a shining light. But when it comes down to administrating and leading our nation, it's just lacking. And our Texas border, New Mexico, Arizona, California has been a struggle, a battle. It's not about this place being the greatest melting pot. We want you to come be a part of the great country of America and to make us all better, but you have to come here the right way. You have to come here the legal way. And then it's glorious. Welcome. That's what makes America beautiful. Vice President Kamala Harris has disappeared. So, in fact, the second little headline there came out of, thank you there, Gary Bird. I agree. America's the greatest country, 100%. So, I got my little picture up there of where in the world is Kamala Harris. That was actually a headline today out of Newsweek. And I found her. She's being sent to Vietnam and Singapore amid tensions with China. You know, the tensions that we're having there in Vietnam and Singapore with China are so much more important than the southern border. And, you know, I'm sure over there she'll solve it. But I just want you guys to know, in YouTube land, Facebook world, Integrity Television world, I found her. It took me all day to find her. She'll be heading to Vietnam and Singapore. God bless her. We like to keep up with what is going on in the Middle East, how it relates to Scripture. In fact, this is going to kind of push us now to where we're going for the latter half of the show. And our guest is coming up in just a moment. You can see right there, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. He's looking like he's going to be a pretty strong leader. You know, he has come into power now after the government reset. Benjamin Netanyahu was not able to remain as prime minister, and Bennett has came in, and so far he's being pretty stout and being very strong in declaring the intentions of Israel, the security of Israel, the outlook of Israel. And he's just point blank putting it out there now. And he says, we are looking to make our country stronger as a Middle East player. You can see now many of the peace agreements that are coming, that are still unfolding. I just showed you a couple of nights ago that Israel and Morocco are now having direct flights to each other. El Al, the Israeli airline, is going to Morocco, and Moroccan Airlines is coming to not Jerusalem, but they're coming to Tel Aviv. So they have international travel going on. We have Saudi Arabia allowing Israeli jets over their airspace. We have an embassy in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. All these things are happening, and they're very important. They are a look at that Ezekiel 38 peace that happens in and around Israel before that war will unfold, and there will be an advancement from the north. Why? Scripture says very clearly in Ezekiel 38, to plunder Israel. That is not Armageddon, but to plunder Israel. While these things are happening right now today, unrest is growing in Iran. Remember, if you're a part of this program, we always try to point things back to what the Word of God says. And even sometimes if I turn the heat up and we crank it up, try to tell the truth, very direct, we still always have a disclaimer. We love people. God loves people, all people. We have a desire that everyone, every tribe, tongue, nation, doesn't matter what language you speak, what color you are, what nation you're from, that you would come to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. That is a point blank foundational statement in this program and always will be. But with that said, we still have rogue regimes. We have works of darkness. We have people that are just not the Antichrist, but they are anti-Christ. They are anti-Christian. We're going to be looking at some of that also in just a few minutes, dealing with the persecuted church. So unrest right now is growing in Iran. Why? Because the rogue regime is getting worse. Remember, I keep telling you that the fastest growing Christian nation per capita, now that's per capita, is Iran. The underground church in Iran is exploding. Now this rogue regime is getting stronger. They just elected a new president. We covered that when that happened. And that was the butcher from 1988 who killed all those people when Ronald Reagan was president. He is now the president of Iran. He hates America and he hates Israel. So right now, Iran is fortifying its position. And when America, if we pull out of Iraq completely, the Shia Muslims that are in Iran and Iraq, they're just going to come together stronger. They're going to bounce over to Hezbollah in Lebanon, and we're seeing it happen already. Israel is saying, we're going to be ready. But while that is happening, many people in Iran are starting to protest this government. So there could be crackdowns coming in Iran that could make things even a little bit more unstable. Going to be very interesting to see. We will be watching it, of course. Taliban fighters have entered the capital of the southern zone of Helmand in Afghanistan. Of course, their ultimate desire is to get to Kabul and take over Afghanistan again. America's gone. The vacuum is there. Here's the problem. Today, China offered the Taliban a warm welcome back into leadership while urging peace talks. Now, folks, it does not take a rocket scientist, okay? It does not take a prophet. It does not take a historian. It does not take a biblical scholar. It does not take someone who have 3 degrees in Southeast Asian culture and history. Folks, China, and when I say China, remember the regime of wonderful Chinese folks, wonderful underground Chinese churches. Not that. The regime is up to diabolical things, and they are seeing an opportunity here with Afghanistan and the vacuum that is now there. I have told you firsthand from my own self being inside of Pakistan, which I just was right before COVID hit, there with Asher Mansha. We talked all about this. He directly told me, he says, listen, China's coming to take over this entire region because they want direct access to the Gulf of Arabia. They're reinstating the Silk Road from history, and they have one goal: to dominate the world in all facets, not only economics. He goes, I'm telling you, I live here. We're now seeing it. Now China's saying, hey, Taliban, welcome. We want to be friends with you. Folks, we have to be very, very careful at what we're seeing. Folks, I want you to get ready. We're going to have a guest hop in here tonight. The last thing I want to talk to you about before we look at the persecuted church after our guest is, I come across an article today while preparing that disturbed me. It disturbed me. The article was about how many families, and you can see the headline, I have it for you there, feel rejected by churches that are unable to handle special needs children. And the article goes on to tell a story about a family that was struggling, finding acceptance in a church. They wanted to worship the Lord. They had special needs children. And basically, churches were telling them, you're not welcome here. Finally, the article does end well, and it talks about how they did find a loving church. So in thinking about that, and I was looking at that article today, and I said, you know what? I got to put that on the program tonight, because here in Greenville, Pennsylvania at Bethel Life, where we base this program out of, that's where we're broadcasting from, Pennsylvania, we have a program called Loving Hands. You see it on the screen there. Loving Hands is a respite service provided once a month for 3 hours for families who have children with special physical, intellectual, behavioral, or emotional needs. Parents enjoy a night off, and we get a chance to love on your child and share with them how amazing they are and how much they are loved by God and by us. Folks, this is worth time talking about tonight. And I have as a special guest tonight, yep, she gets a big drum roll. Well, folks, I'd like to welcome to the program tonight the Queen of Loving Hands.
Oh, that's
Folks,
awesome.
the special guest tonight is Ms. Denise Bell. This would be Pastor Kent's better half, and that's the way it is around here. Denise, you started Loving Hands, and you know, we've got a lot of folks in this program now over the last year and a half. This has grown way beyond Bethel Life. So there are many more folks watching this program that are not Bethel Life. They do not live in Pennsylvania. They're watching on Integrity Television. They're watching on YouTube. They're watching on Facebook. They're watching in other groups. They're watching in other countries. They have no idea what I'm talking about. So tonight, once I saw that headline where families have been rejected due to having children, family members with special needs, I said, you know what? I got to get Denise in here. So Denise, you have something on your heart. You started years ago that's spot on for this. So let's start with this. What is Loving Hands, and what did God put in your heart, and when did it happen?
Well, Loving Hands, as you said, it's just a respite opportunity for parents and caregivers of their children, if they have special needs, to come bring them to us. Let us take care of them. You take a break. I always say, go take a bubble bath, go home, lay down, take a nap, go get your groceries, do whatever it is that you need to do. But don't worry, we'll take care of your children. And then they say, well, what if this happens? Or what if this happens? I'm like, it's okay. We'll take care of it. And if we need you, we'll call you. So it's just an opportunity for us to be, in 2 Corinthians 5:20, it talks about us being ambassadors of Christ. And an ambassador is simply an official representative. And if we're going to represent him well, then there are certain things that we need to take on. There's certain things that we need to do in order to do what he's asked us to do. And through us in that chapter of 2 Corinthians, he's making an appeal to us to win the lost, to make an impression on people for him. And also, if you go to 2 Corinthians 13, talks about love. I mean, you can have all this kinds of knowledge. You can know the Bible. You can know spiritual things. You can be a giver, and you can do all of those things. But if you don't have love, then we're nothing. We have nothing. And so actually, what we're doing is following exactly what God has asked us to do in the Word.
Where'd the name Loving Hands come from?
Loving Hands came from just an acronym that we found online, and it's an opportunity for us to honor them, to just to represent Jesus in their lives and give them dignity and support, encouragement, some things like that. Sorry, that was my alarm. I forgot to shut it off. So we are very happy to be a part of this Loving Hands program. We just extended that into our Hermitage campus here, which is, for those of you that are not around here, are just it's down the road 20 miles, and we've already had great success with parents just getting some relief, finding a place where their children are accepted no matter what anyone else has told them or what they have been turned away at different times, different places, or the statistics that surround this particular population of people it's just amazing. It's heartbreaking. And so we just don't want to be a part of the negative statistics. We want to be a part of being a positive influence in their lives, just accepting them and loving them where they're at. The parents don't really necessarily want. I've read studies and I can give you references for all of this information, but none of the parents that I have read about or that have been in studies that I have been involved in or know of, they don't ask for special rooms. They don't ask for special programming. They don't even ask us to fix their problems or what's going on. But what they do want is an environment where a church is just willing to love them through the challenges that coming to a worship service would bring. And that's where we're at. That's what we built.
Let's look at a couple of things, because I'm telling you, a majority of folks watching tonight probably still don't understand. So let me guide you a little bit.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
When Loving Hands started, how many years ago did it start?
It'll be 11 years in September.
Okay. So one Friday night a month, you transform our entire 17,000 square foot campus into a huge playroom with stations.
We do.
Right?
We do. Yes.
We have movies running in the sanctuary.
Right.
We have a huge volunteer pool that makes this happen. What kind of...
We do.
Okay. What are volunteers doing? You have different jobs. What do they do?
We have a number of opportunities, and like Pastor Greg said, we use every inch of this church except for the offices. And we have a game room where they can come in and play video games. They have a craft room and a face painting station, which is extremely popular. We have a quiet room. We have, like you said, a movie going in the sanctuary, and then we have like a blow-off steam room, which is very popular. We have a bounce house, we have a ball pit, we've got the hula hoops, we've got the little tunnels they crawl through. And of course, then we have appropriate snacks that are gluten and casein free for the special diets. Volunteers can work in any of those areas. We've got security team that sits at every door just in case we have those runners that want to be outside rather than inside, so that we can keep an eye on everyone. Volunteers from security. We have had runners, yes.
So we have security at every door, so the runners can't run. That's cool.
The runners can't run.
Okay.
Yeah, security. We have volunteers that actually make some gluten-free snacks for us. We have people that volunteer, set up the kitchen, engage the kids as they come in and get snacks. We have a one-on-one buddy system here in Greenville that, as the guests register, then I assign individuals, volunteers that to those people that are. I try to make a good match so that they'll enjoy each other. And the only job of that buddy volunteer for that night is to make sure that that kid is loved, he's safe. That's very important, and has the time of his or her life. And that's just our goal. We want them to feel loved and accepted.
Do you have medical staff?
We have nurses that sit and just do the same thing. We've only had a couple maybe bumps and bruises, and they put those Band-Aids on, and it's such a big deal. They treat them wonderfully, and we just can't thank our volunteers enough for the heart that they have for this adventure that we're on.
You have a registration team?
We have a registration team. We like the families to register their children ahead of time. They can do that online on our website. And so that I'm aware of any particular really special needs that comes in, special diets that we have to really keep a close eye on. And that we just feel like we're a little more prepared if we know who's coming in advance.
So now that's the second Friday of every month in Greenville?
The
The
second
third.
Friday is in Hermitage.
All right,
The
second
third Friday is
Friday's in
here in
Hermitage.
Greenville. Hmm.
The third Friday's in Greenville. But now you also have something, is it led by the Higbees?
We have an outreach of Loving Hands. Yes,
Which
it's
is
called
called
Prime. It's called
Amazon Prime.
Prime. Yeah. Nope,
No,
just
Loving
Prime.
Hands Prime. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
What is
Yes.
Loving Hands
And
Prime?
Loving Hands Prime is actually birthed out of the heart of Pam and Mike Higbee, who have been friends of ours and been a part of Bethel for a very long time. Came to me and said, "We'd like to start something for the people that come to Loving Hands that would like more of a more grown up environment. Some of these kids are adults, and they have are more mature and have the ability to do a few extra things, like maybe they could do their own craft, or maybe they get involved in making snacks. They're hands on, and they hold this down just right down the street, just a block from us, down at our dedicated youth facility that we call the Block. Same time that we do it on a Friday night, the Loving Hands up here at the church. And they have lots of outings. I just talked to them the other day, and they're planning a big fundraiser, and in November. And it's not, this is their heart. The ministry is supported by the church, absolutely. I mean, we take donations and all of those things, but Pam and Mike want the kids to be responsible for their part in all of the adventures and all of the outings and stuff that they do. They want them to have a hands-on opportunity to be a part of a fundraiser that is actually, they're raising money for themselves for things that they would like to do. So they are being very much treated with dignity and respect, and are very much a part of the whole ministry. It's just, we just come at it from a little bit of a different angle. It's not as we really have a pretty juvenile environment here in the Greenville Bethel Life Church on a Friday night, and so they wanted something that was a little more
For older
mature
folks.
for the higher functioning kids. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. Now you expanded even more, and you got a major fan rolling here from Hallsville, North Carolina. AJ Bird, she's saying, "This is so exciting. Oh, how I wished I lived closer." She also says, "I've been in special education for 20 years, and there is a great need for programs like this." AJ Bird, you're welcome to move up here anytime. Ms. Denise would love you to be involved in this
Absolutely.
ministry. Now,
For sure.
you took it a step further. Now, the first Sunday of June is what?
Mhm.
Every year.
The first Sunday of June is everybody's special Sunday. We celebrate our volunteers. We celebrate our guests that attend our Loving Hands and our Prime, and we just have a party. Really, we do a
But
special.
this is during the Sunday celebration.
This is during the Sunday celebration. Yes, we have
You
our
have
kids.
special needs children at the door greeting.
Right.
You've got them doing different jobs in the church. We've had you have them on the stage singing. I mean, Scotty has
Right.
wanted to preach.
He
I mean-
has the microphone.
He's got the microphone.
He brings it with him. Yes, it's just an opportunity for the parents to see how we interact with the kids, to see how the rest of the congregation interacts with them. They don't necessarily see that on a Loving Hands evening, because that's our Loving Hands group, and that's why we're there. But it just gives us all, as parents, as volunteers, as congregation members, to see how everything all flows together, and how really cool it is to be a part of something like that. So it really is just a big celebration. We have had a guest speaker come in the last couple of years who is a comedian who just, through his comedy, encourages and tells his story of how he and his wife have adopted several children with special needs and how it has changed their lives. And it's not, I can tell you, it's not easy. It's not, every day is not a walk in the park. There are some challenges. But when we partner up with these parents that we can really relate to and build this relationship with, then that's the next step into, introducing them to who Jesus is and who he can be in their lives if they're not at that point, or if they've not had that opportunity to attend a worship service because of the circumstances that they find themselves in with their special needs kids. So it just opens a huge door.
Now, every other Sunday of the year, I'm going to say 5 words to you. Tell me what this is. Loving Angels on Sunday mornings.
Loving Angels is a group of people that we have how to say this? We have a group of people that are ready to serve on a Sunday morning if someone comes to our service with any kind of a special need. Sometimes we don't know who's coming on a Sunday morning, either it's the first service or second service, or now we're in Hermitage. Sometimes we don't know that they're coming in advance. And so we have a group of volunteers that are ready, that if someone comes and they need some assistance, they need someone to sit with them, they need someone to walk with them. They want, our guests may be any age, but they want to go over to Kids on the Move, and they enjoy the kids music, the Kids on the Move music. They enjoy the lessons. Sometimes they learn differently. They learn on different levels. And so we have someone that will volunteer to just do whatever they need to do for this special needs guest so their parents can sit in a service and get ministered to themselves. So that is an awesome ministry also.
Let me ask you this question, because people need to know. We're learning, right? So in a respectful way, how would you answer this?
Oh, dear.
No, I'm not going to crush you. When you say special needs children or adults,
mm-hmm.
What does that mean? What does it range from? For example, your son, no crying, special needs.
Yes.
But okay, so when you talk about this, you got to remember there's a lot of folks on here that are watching tonight and they're loving it. But what does that mean? What are these children suffering from or having to deal with? Maybe is a better way to say it.
Okay, well, there's all kinds of special needs, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's intellectual or anything like that. If they have some sort of something that they're just in a wheelchair. For instance, if someone has spina bifida, they are physically, it's an obvious special need, but then there's also hidden special needs. There's emotional, there's behavioral, there's of course intellectual. And so all of those things, it just covers the whole range of pretty much anything that could happen. We have a lot of children that come who are autistic. We have some. I just talked to a mom today who wants to bring their child, and they have part of their diagnosis is PTSD. And then we have some that come that it's just physical. They have some sort of thing that is keeping them from being able to walk or do some of the physical things that typical children do or typical adults can do. So it just runs the gamut. And, not one is more or less important than the other. It's a need, and it's a special need. And therefore, we do the best of our ability to try to meet that need of that individual family, that individual guest that comes to see us on a Friday night.
What does it mean? Or what testimonies have you heard over the last 11 years from families? Because there may be other churches out there watching this program tonight, or they'll be watching it later. Even on Integrity Television, this show is ran live, and then it's also rebroadcast at other times. So we may get messages in that want information. What are some of the testimonies you've heard from parents that puts a smile on your face?
Okay, well, now I might cry. they're the first thing that they say to me is, I can't believe that you're going to take my child. First of all, it's just, now keep in mind that some of these parents have gone through several different avenues to get some help, to get some respite, to get some relief. And then they finally get to us, or they've been recommended to us from some, oh, sorry, from some way or some eight.
I think
Sorry,
your
my
phone is dancing.
My phone keeps spinning. Yes, it's doing the jig. So we have to understand where they're coming from to really appreciate the stories that that you're going to get. But the biggest thing is that they call and they talk to me and they say, but he kicks and he spits, and we've had some kids around who have a little bit of a temper or behavior problem, and as long as we can handle it, we're not going to turn anyone away. And when you say that to a mom, you just have no idea the impact.
I'll help you out there with a little sound effect.
Thank you. Thank you. You just don't have any idea the impact that one small gesture has on a family or a parent, or even the guest himself.
Let me keep you away from crying. So
Okay, that's a good idea.
Have you reaped spiritual harvest from this?
We have reaped spiritual harvest from that. We have several families that are coming to the church on a regular basis. And when we started Loving Hands, it had nothing to do with growing the church. In fact, anyone will tell you, don't start any kind of a ministry if it's about growing your church, because that's not the goal. The goal for us was to serve families, to build relationships, to provide an environment for them where they could trust us. They'd know that that's our heart. It's a part of our DNA. So if they so chose to come back and go to a service, then they know that they're going to be loved, accepted. I have to tell you a really quick story. There was one little girl that she was sitting in church with her mom, and I don't know why she was in church that day, because usually she goes to the kids service, but she was sitting in there, and she all of a sudden decided she was going to through the middle of the aisle.
Hold on, no, say it again. Your alarm hit.
So she walked down through the middle aisle, and she made the corner, and Pastor Kent stepped up to the edge of the stage, and he put out his hand, and they gave each other a high five, and she just kept on rolling, and no one even missed a spell. So those kinds of opportunities for us to just allow families to understand that they have a place here. It's we have our own son who I know Pastor Greg could tell you stories. He takes off he's had times where he's taken off his shoes, put his foot both of his feet, crossed his feet, put him on the back of the pew in front of him. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you just have to realize, is that really that important? Is that something to be offended over? Is that worth harming or offending a family and a life? And the answer, of course, is absolutely not. Because once that happens, then it's really hard for that person, that family, even the siblings of that family, to return to that environment where they've been wounded or hurt.
All right, last thing. We got 1 minute and 27 seconds. Night to Shine unfolded and turned into a monster in a good way.
It did. This will be our 6th year of Night to Shine. Tim Tebow's heart was to start a prom for kids and adults 14 and up who have special needs, because he wanted, and it's always around Valentine's Day, and he wanted people to not only celebrate our love for them, but God's love for them. And so Valentine's Day, this coming year 2022, I believe it's on February 11th, and Night to Shine is a huge prom that we hold here in Greenville. We have we have the best time. We have about between 200 and 250 guests that usually come. We have over 600 people on site that are helping in every area between catering and, we sign buddies to escort and dress up and dance, and we've got DJs and we've got lights flashing and we've got all kinds of food, and it's just an absolute celebration. We have people that come from 3 hours away to get here, and we just absolutely
the oldest
look forward to it.
participant is how old?
So the last time we had two ladies, that one was 91 and one was 93. Yes. And they were the last ones out the door. They
were partying.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's such and it's a great opportunity for our community to get involved and support the special needs population, and everybody steps up. It is just an amazing night. We have limos that the people come here. The parents drop their kids off, and they get their hair done, their nails done, their ties all tied right, their shoes shined, and then they go by limo to the venue where we're holding the prom, and it is a very special night. And then the next day, they want to know, when's the next one? When are we doing this again? So it's a great opportunity. Everybody loves Night to Shine, although it is a lot of work, but it's
AJ Bird is in the chat from North Carolina saying, "I'll come and clean your toilets just so I can be a part."
Oh, well.
Here's what I'll tell you, AJ Bird. Here's what I'll tell you. I know you and your church rescued my father and I. So I can tell you right now, you're more than welcome to come up for a weekend and be a part of Loving Hands, or come for the Night to Shine. Ms. Denise will get you locked in and you can serve. Just make it a part of a vacation, and send me a message and I'll get you connected. We would love to have you. And
absolutely,
you wouldn't have to just clean the toilet. Well, Denise, you kept me from going to the reason I was supposed to talk about the persecuted church in 2021. So what that actually is now a teaser. Folks, on Tuesday night, we're going to be talking about the persecuted church. I've got lots of new facts, lots of new information. It's going to be awesome to see what's going on. And once again, to make you realize, Denise, thank you for everything. That was a phenomenal time. And I can tell you, it's blowing up on here on all the social stuff I'm seeing. People appreciate it. We thank you for your ministry. Thank you for your heart, you and Kent, leading this Loving Hands. And the best is yet to come.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it very much.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Tonight has been awesome. YouTube, Facebook, Integrity Television, we love you. May the Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you, and may you walk in more peace than you can possibly handle. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Good night. Be blessed.